Hello, happy Monday, everybody. I'm going to be checking the chats intermittently from YouTube and Behance because we're live on both. Hope you're doing very well. For those that don't know who I am, I'm Mandy Celine. It should say it right below me. I'm a director and DP, which means that I film stuff, and I also am the founder of Breadbox Studios, which is a post-production house currently and also a bit of a production house, but we do a lot of editing. We do so much editing, me and my team. They're so great. I'm here every Monday in May. Gonna chat to you all things video, give you little challenges. Today we're going to be talking about color. I'll get into that in a second. Just before we move forward, I just want to, if you're in Behance, and I think on YouTube, you'll see links below. There'll be some starter files. This week doesn't include footage, but it does include kind of the layout of what I have got going on. Again, we'll get to that in a minute, our workspace, if you will. And also you can join the Discord, and that's where you can share ideas, any problems you got. I'll be periodically checking it and everything, and we can chat there. Please do not email me. My public email is not 100% managed by me, so I might not get it. But in the Discord, I will be checking there intermittently and checking in on how you all are doing. Let's check if that's all the housekeeping. It is. I have notes in front of me because my memory, like a fish, am I right? I think that is everything. Oh, we're doing so well. It is morning back in Americas, and in the UK, it's the end of the day. It's morning, afternoon, really, depending on if you're on the east or west coast. But it's like 5:30 p.m. here, so we're rounding up for the day. So today we're going to talk about and look at color. We're really going to focus on the lumetri scopes. So I want to show you how you can read those so that you can color grade and color correct better. We'll be looking at some log footage briefly, and we'll be looking briefly at the curves so that you learn how to change some colors if you need to change very specific colors in an image. And if we have time, I'm hoping we will, I want to show you how you can export your settings to create your own LUT, which is like a filter or a preset. So if you're filming in the same space every week, you don't have to do that work over and over and over. You can just add it, which would be amazing. So I think we should dip into Premiere. Premiere with a mini-me. Haha, I'm hosting it completely on my own, so let's see if this is working well. So this is the color workspace. I have tried to limit what is there. Over on our left, where I'm circling, you'll see all the scopes. We're really only going to focus on this one over here. That's like a white wavy line. It's called a Luma histogram. I will very briefly go into this one, which is a vector scope, which is very useful. And I will within 3 sentences, cover the parade. These are the 3 I use personally when color grading. If you are just starting your own workspace, you can go over here and click color. And like with any panel, you can right click on the hamburger menu of every panel, and you can decide to undock it or close it if you don't want it there. I believe it also comes up with history or things you just might not need when you're practicing. So today, these are our scopes. So the histogram. I'm going to go through this as much as I can with the time that we've got, because I know I'm being very ambitious with what I want to cover. This is the best friend of yours when color grading or correcting, because you will be able to read your exposure. And actually it does mimic the image. If you look here with all these jaggy lines, I wonder if I can zoom in. Yeah, look at that. There's all those jaggedy lines. That's actually the blinds of my image. And I know that this weird shape here is going to be the sofa. Very bizarre. But after you spend a while, you'll learn how to read the trace, which is what the white line is called, because as you move it, it moves with your image as well. So what are all these numbers? They're mad overwhelming. I totally get that. Firstly, you can ignore the right side of numbers. That's a load of bitrate stuff, and that's so advanced that I don't use it. So there's that. Over here, this scale is called IRE. It's actually named after the guys that invented it. It's like the Institute of Radio Engineers or something like that. I've probably butchered it a bit. But it is named after those guys. They basically we made up the scale. Let's name it after us and not after what it's actually measuring. So there you go. 0 at the bottom is your blacks. Now what I've done already preemptively is I've gotten up the basic color correction panel on Lumetri color. If you can't find that, again, you go to window, scroll down, and you can add Lumetri color. So that's great. So under light, all of these terms will relate to our Luma waveform. So 0 is your blacks down here, and that is from 0 to 20. It's mostly talking about your blacks there, where they sit. As you can see, that this footage that I'm using to demonstrate is actually a log footage. Log means it hasn't added color. It's kind of given as flat an image as it can provide to try and preserve some data. So when you have more room to color correct, basically. Let's go back to our scale. 20 to 40, these are your shadows, which is over here. Can I draw? I can, which is here on your Lumetri color. And also, so that's from 20 to 40. 40 to 60, you start getting into your whites, I believe. So these are your whites, these are here. And like, they're not in order. That would be a little bit useful, but I also understand why they did them this way as well. And then 60 to 80 is your highlights. No, wait, I did that wrong. 60 to 80 is your whites. Get there in the end. It goes blacks, shadows, whites, no, highlights, whites and highlights. Yes, I think that's how it goes. You know what? I can double check that. Okay, yeah, I'm right, because I can see how it moves. So there's me questioning myself because I'm thinking too much of the numbers, but there you go. You never really want to have a flat line around 100, and you never want a flat line around 0. This means that your whites are too overexposed, and that they're getting crushed up there, and you're losing data. And the same with when things are pushed down on the bottom. You want it close to the bottom, but you don't want to like align on that 0, because it means you're crushing your blacks and you'll lose data, essentially. So that is the very basics, the very, very basics of this histogram. While we have time, because apparently I am nailing this for time-wise. When I did the practice, I took so much longer. Where basically this is the vector scope, this round one. This is the other one I really like to use, particularly when I'm trying to fix skin tones. So you'll see this line here. Generally, you want your skin tones to sit along that line. You can create a mask on the skin, and I'll show you how to do that earlier to check if that color is leaning on that line or as close to the line as you want. There might be some differences for very obvious reasons, that we all have different skin tones, but generally along the line. And then you'll see this grid here with all the colors. There's all your basic, like I think it's the CY something spectrum, but that doesn't matter. What you need to know is this is actually the broadcast safe zone for color. So if your colors start pushing outside of this little bracket, it now means that you may have lost some data, and not all screens are going to present that color correctly. It will not be guaranteed. So that's why I like this, particularly for colors, just to check things around. And then the parade. Now, the main thing you need to know about the parade is you want these to roughly be the same. Roughly. But we're not really going to focus on this today, because I believe the other two are going to provide 98% of what you need. So what I want to do is show you how these waveforms work. I'm just going to check the chats. Where's the chats? Need to give things a bit of a refresh to see them, I think. Yeah. Hello, hello, hello. Ooh, we're here from a bit of everywhere. Nice. So, we're on BST, by the way. We're on BST because of daylight savings. Just reading that chat. How's the YouTube one doing? Live chat. Oh, yay. Great. So thank you for someone for putting in the Voodoo Val for putting in all the links. You're a star. Thank you so much. Right, so let's get to grading this, I think. So this is actually a shot from a music video I directed, shot and edited, because I got 2 weeks notice, and crewing up was difficult in that short notice, and I wanted to put more of the budget towards the actors, and that meant I could work cheaper. So a little bit behind the scenes for you. So as you can see on this waveform, everything's a bit compressed. As I said, it's shot in log, so everything's going to look a bit squished, and what we want to do is broaden that waveform, which is your dynamic range. We want to make that wider. I personally always like to start dark and work my way up. I will say that this shot was 100% underexposed because I was trying to retain the details out the window so it didn't look bad. So first thing I'm going to do is just drop those back. So if I can, yeah, there we go. And you can see like very quickly you can get that flat line, right? And that means the detail is getting lost. So we'll bring that up a little bit till like it's just kissing it, like that. The bit I'm losing is actually in the corner of this chair, and I don't care about that chair. So there's that. Then the next thing I tend to play with is, like, I do work my way up, as it were. Is I don't like to just go for exposure and change things either. I like to work my way. So my whites, I know I want to stretch that so it can come up to at least like 80 or so. Now you can see I'm not actually losing that much detail, which is great. We'll know something's wrong when it flatlines, like I'm not going to take it the whole way. I don't think I even can because I did underexpose it, which for that reason, to protect my highlights. So we're going to go there. Love that for us. Shadows, I want to boost those up because those are a bit low and this was quite a bright room. And I had a thing on the lens called a smoke filter. Most people use a Pro Mist, but I wanted this scene to look really hazy, and the fire alarms were super sensitive in this apartment, so I was not able to do that. So I'm just going to boost this up so I know it's going to look a bit hazy. And then the highlights, this is where we can play if it's too much or too, like, because I don't want the floor to white out. I want to just touch it to like 80, I think, just about there, get a little bit. I worried about this getting overexposed because, again, we were using natural light for that side, not on the other side. It was all like a trick one shot because I just wanted to give myself a problem, apparently. And then you can go in and add more contrast if you like. So the contrast, if you watch the waveform, you'll see it pull it up. So if you go for the contrast up, it will try and widen that dynamic range for you. I never like to start there. I like to have more control, but if you bring it down, it'll actually recompress it again. So what it's doing is kind of what I've just done. So there's that. So let's see. About there. So we started here, and now we've got a lot more of a bit of contrast going on there. And I have room as well. If I wanted to push it up, I totally could in the exposure. Now you can see why I undershot it, because as you push it up, you can see that information loss, and that's what I was afraid of. So let's do it a fraction here. Now a lot more of the work here is actually going to be in the color, which I love. I didn't plan to do much today, but we can also bring that saturation in. So this is where the vector scope, this one over here, give it a circle, get rid of that one, is useful. We can see that the colors are really, really muted. So when I pump those up, you'll see that little like splodge get wider. And I can actually go really far because like you can see there where it's hitting that boundary. That's what I wanted like to show you. But I think the colors sit nicely around here. I don't know if you can hear the scratching at my door, but that is my cat. So I think they sit nicely around here. Now, I actually had calibrated the color, the white balance in this, I think quite well for daylight, because I use Kelvin when I'm shooting, so it seemed quite accurate. Now, if I wanted to give it a cooler appearance, I would turn that bluer, but I actually wanted this warmer, and I think I had it when I edited it around here because I wanted it to be a warm, happy moment, and the rest of the music video was super cold and clinical and blue. So we started from the bottom, now we're here. I'm pretty proud of that. So that's kind of how you can play with that. This is meant to look like a slightly flatter image, but again, because I had that filter on it, but that's a huge difference from beginning to end, and just using very basic color tools. Now, very quickly, I wasn't going to say this. If you don't like playing with saturation because it makes all your colors too bright, as an example, you can also play with the saturation here, and it could be too much. Something you can do is use vibrance. What vibrance is, the difference between is it takes the not the top end of all the colors and makes them brighter. It takes like the bottom end of those colors and it brings them up to meet the top end, so it can feel more subtle, which I sometimes like. I usually play around with that, and we can just see it's going to be a very minimal kind of thing. That didn't do as much as I thought it would, but you can see the room's going more yellow when I do this. Actually, I think I preferred it round here. It's very little, but I prefer playing with that over saturation personally when I can. So that is very, very basic, quick. We've done this in 15 minutes, like round stop of the scopes. I've got a lot more to cover here, folks. 15 minutes or less, so let's go. Double check how we all doing. Sounds good here. Checking all the chats. Great. Love it. So I think with that, we can go into another piece of log footage, because I'm going to show you some settings that you might not know about, because they're new into late 23 they came in of Premiere Pro, but they are in 24. If you come up here, I'm going to zoom in on the Lumetri tab. There is now a settings tab that did not used to be there. So if you click on that, you'll get all these other features. I very quickly, if you're on a Mac and you're wondering why your colors look different when you're editing on the Mac than exporting, you want to change your viewer gamma to 1.96, which is QuickTime. It's an Apple problem, not a Premiere problem, because Apple were like, we're going to do a different gamma than we've ever done a couple of laptops ago. And you're like, cool, let's not use the standard 2.4 that we were all using. Why don't you change it for your phone and iPad and that? However, if you want to have mass appeal for TV screens, everything, you'll want to stay that on 2.4. But if you're not, if you're in a Mac ecosystem, maybe if you're a content creator, you might like 1.96. Something you can get it to do if you don't want to color grade your logs is you just click this button and it will put a Rec 709 kind of grade onto your clip, so you don't have to bother. And you can see the difference as well in that waveform, like really tight and compact, and it's done the basic work, and then you can go in and grade that yourself because it's already done a mild correction. So there is that. If you want to use a different thing, you can tell it to use here an input LUT. I'm going to have to turn that off for that to work, and you'll see that this, it looks different to how the auto tone mapping and auto detect log footage works. Because I have the exact LUT programmed in for my Sony camera. And yeah, so that automatically sorted out the color for me. I can go back and be like, none, and this is what it looked like. And with the gamma, with my S-Log gamma LUT for Rec 709. Again, I'm just going to show you the difference, so I'm going to turn that off. And there's the auto detect. They're very similar. They're very similar. This one's a bit brighter, I find. Personally, I like to go for my exact camera, like the works. So if you have that issue with log footage, Sony and other cameras actually have those LUTs available for free on their websites. Download them, add them to your spaces, use them, and play with these settings up here. So I think that's just very quickly what I wanted to mention. We're going to move on because I want to show you how you can change colors in the time that we have available, because we have like 10 minutes. So this is Shay. I filmed her for Hello Sunday. I filmed this one with, it wasn't S-Log. I was told I wasn't allowed to use log footage because the interns needed to be able to just take the footage and upload it. And I was like, you still probably want to color correct it? And they were like, no, we don't know how to do that. So I did the best I could. And so this is Shay just being like her beautiful self with beautiful skin with sunscreen on a happy day. So we were using blue balls to try and make it look like daytime, and there's only so much you can do, especially because this was like teal and we were trying to make the skin look like it was in peak 1 p.m. sunshine. So let's go back to our actual edit space. We can come off all this, and we're actually going to go to our effects because I want to show you the skin tone. Not our effects, our effect controls. So we're going to make a mask. I had the right name, I just had the wrong panel. So we're going to hit the pen tool here, and we're actually just going to take a section of her skin, and we're going to make a triangle, and go back to our scopes, and they should update. There we go. And I double clicked to zoom in, and I can see actually her skin bang on that line. Bang on. I can maybe make a very slight adjustment, maybe by playing with these. So if I bring it up, it's going to get too bright. I don't want that. And that's too blue. I think I don't want more red in it. I think it was pretty much on the line. If anything, it was maybe a slight bit green. And then you can go back to your effect controls and get rid of that mask. See, I preferred it before, but you know, I think it's just because the background's blue. So I'm going to leave it because we know that that's color accurate from the line. And the next thing I want to do with this is I want to make that background look way more believable. Like this is a teal background. This is not a sky background. So to fix this, we're going to go into our curves. Curves is amazing. I highly recommend you spend a lot of time playing with this. But today we're going to dip into the fun one, Hue versus Hue. You grab your little pipette, which is just over here. Like, see, you click on it and you get a little pipette. It's cute. And we're going to click that blue and it's going to select that color range for us. So great. Love it when it does that. I don't have to play guesswork. And we're just going to play with this going up and down. So you can see that because that's so different, it works pretty much like a blue screen. It's so different from the skin tones. It's very easy to manipulate. It's harder with tones that are close to the skin. You'll see the skin will want to change. Oh, look at that. Cute. We can really have a play with this. And purple. I actually like the purple, but I do notice there's a lot we can play with here. I think more here looks better. I'm going to see if I can play around with it. Let's get the before, after. That's definitely an improvement, right? Like that looks like much more believable sky. Maybe the sun's behind her, which is why there's the little light spot. We didn't want it to be flat. Sky has variation in it. You know, it does a gradient thing. We thought this through. I think here. Maybe I could play with this part, maybe? I don't know. So we started here and we ended up here, which is definitely so much better. This means, like, you remember when I was like, I like to skim more orange? It looks better and more natural now. And it's just like the background was conflicting with it because the background was had a lot of green in it. It's teal. It has a lot of green naturally. So now we have this whole thing of shea. It looks great. Now, we had so much footage on here with several different models. So maybe I just want to reuse like my color grade, but it's on that clip. What can I do? Quickly before we go, we've got like a couple of minutes. We go to this hamburger menu up here, and then you want to go for the export cube option. The reason you want to go for cube is that's what most LUTs are. So you go export cube, you're going to go into your settings and save that wherever you want, and it will be in a cube LUT format. Shall I give it a quick go? Let's give it a quick go. LUT Adobe. So let's delete my hard work. All gone. My hard work's disappeared. What we could do is go to, I prefer to do creative for LUTs. So there's two places you can put LUTs very quickly. You have here, which I recommend putting in like Rec 709 or correction LUTs. There's a few there already that exist. But for creative and color grading, I would always go to creative and add it in look. So look, custom, it's somewhere on the desktop. I made it here, LUT Adobe Color, put that in, and it's changed the color. Beautiful. The other alternate way to put this on is we can go to our project, go to this little post-it note down here. If you can't see it, it's right here. There we go. It's right here. Post-it note, and then, it's really nice that it cut it off. Adjustment layer. And then you can add the adjustment layer, drag that on top of your footage. We'll get rid of the LUT from here. We don't want this, turn that off. And we can always put it here. Custom, it's down here, cube. And that means like if you had loads of footage, you can just drag that out and it'll be on all the footage because it's on that layer. And then you can go in and make little tweaks, little tweaks. So I think I covered almost everything on there. I'm going to check my list. Did we go through log footage? Yes. Did we go through the auto mapping? Yes. We mentioned gamma. We went through curves. We created a LUT. I sped through this. I was terrified that because I've done a similar lesson like this before, but for like an hour. And I was like, but this is all useful. I need to show people all this. We went through how to do the workspace. We went through our scopes super quickly. They're very much less intimidating now. We know where they are. In case I didn't mention it, if you can't see your scopes for whatever reason, you right click on the panel and you can get rid of things you don't want there. In theory, where did it go? Oh my, there we go. So I only have the vector scope on there now, which I had zoomed in on. We can double click to bring that back to normal. And maybe I want my histogram, wrong histogram. We want the Luma waveform, which is technically a histogram. Anyway, and we can get rid of this one. So if you just wanted to focus on this, you can. We could actually still make tweaks to this, but I like the slightly darker contrasty nature because I know that this is a little dark, but if you wanted to play with it and make like those whites pop a bit more, actually that looks better. It does look better. And I did all this by looking at the waveform being like, actually I can make this go above 80 and like get it slightly more further up. Let's see. Yeah, I think that looks good. Yeah, that actually looks better. You know what? That's why you shouldn't trust your eyes. And the thing I always tell people with color, do look at the scopes. Don't always trust your eyes because your eyes actually adapt to the environment you're in. So you could be color correcting and then all the colors are wrong. And it also lets you know if like you got true tone on, because sometimes you'll be like, why does this look so blue on that, particularly the RGB parade? And then you'll be like, oh, I've been like overcorrecting blue because I have true tone on my computer and it's made everything yellow. I always turn that stuff off, and at least on my computer. My phone, I don't tend to color correct on my phone. So it is what it is. We have actually come to the end of the stream. Whew, I'm so proud. We covered so much. So don't forget to head to the Discord. The links are in the chats and they're down below in the description boxes in both Behance and on YouTube. I will be back next Monday. I can't remember what we're talking about, but I feel like it's sound. I feel like we're doing sound. Don't forget to share your work as well on the Discord. I'll be popping in. And it's been an absolute pleasure. I cannot wait to see you next week. We did so much. I'm so proud of us. And with that, I think we should go to the outro for the next person. Yes, that's it. Don't forget to check out the next person. I believe it's Ray, who has hosted me before on Adobe Live. She's amazing. I think she's doing something with After Effects, which is cool. So yeah, I'll catch you next Monday. Absolute pleasure. I think, yes, pro tips with Pixie. Just seen that comment. And I will see you on Monday. Have a great day. Bye.